Starving. Put the banner up. Hey, everybody. Happy Monday. It's Mike, Scott, and Pam in the house. Ready to answer your listener questions. What's up, guys? Ready to answer questions?
Oh, I'm just getting the alert.
Oh, we live? We'll not be playing pickleball tonight because we are podcasting. Thank God. Pickleball is bad for your hips.
There it is. I was waiting for the Twitch alert.
I have not heard that. I mean, like it seems like it's a
It's a very good sport if you play doubles. That's what I figured out because I've only played it twice in the last week, and like we don't have anybody to play doubles with, so we're playing singles, and you got to cover the whole court. So Mallory and I are super competitive, and so we just run each other ragged like across the court each time. But if you're playing doubles, you only got to really cover this little square. Like that's the key to the pickleball game. I got to find another 2 people to play doubles.
I prefer playing singles, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. But
we run each other ragged. Like I just want to cut down how much ground I got to cover. And it was super hot the one night, and like the one side was in the shade and the one side was in the sun. So I was nice and let Mallory stay in the shade. And we just eaten dinner. Oh my God, it was so hot that night. But then the second night we played it after dark, so that was better. And there was a Kiss cover or the Queen cover band playing. It was at this place where they have.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, dude, the place is awesome. There's a bar there. There's like 12 courts. It was wild. And then they started playing Van Halen. So I was like,
oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it's a wild place.
See, it messed up again. So I'm glad I'm going back and checking on this before I save it.
Oh my, the video or
yeah, my video.
Okay.
I know I'm killing you. I'm killing you with it.
Check. I'm making sure our audio is okay too. Now you're making me think our audio is bad. Let me just make sure. Check. I'm making sure our audio. Okay, good. We're good. Because the other day our audio messed up. Okay, let's record a podcast. You good? You gonna?
Yeah, I'm paying attention.
Okay, Martin Scorsese up there. You good? He's the guy who did Oppenheimer, the famous guy that everybody's talking
Nolan.
about.
Yeah.
Okay, Christopher Nolan. Okay.
Yeah, we good. We good.
Oh, Sean's saying hello from the mitten.
Hey.
Hello, Mittner.
Like this, Scott? Is this
like this?
Part,
yeah.
What part? Exactly. Oh, wait.
Right here. Right here's where I am.
Pennsylvania's like the Keystone State. I don't
know how you do that.
You're like over here, right?
Well, I don't know what that is. So okay,
like that looks like a rectangle. Pretend like this is a rectangle.
That looks very Eastern, but I think it's flipped the wrong way. So yeah.
So like if this is Pennsylvania, we're here.
You can't do Missouri like that.
I don't think we can do Pennsylvania like that either. That may be wrong.
Wisconsin tries to do it, but it's like a claw. I don't know like why they try to say like they're the midden.
We're starting geographical wars. Oh, he says west side of the mid. Okay, well, here we go.
West side, Grand Rapids area. There we go.
Hope you had a great birthday week. Okay, let's see. This is episode 2325. Holy Casmoli. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2325 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having another great week. Thanks again for joining us here on the show. Of course, it is Wednesday, so it is time to turn the show over to you guys and answer your listener questions. Thanks to everybody who is joining us here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X, formerly known as Twitter. It's kind of like Prince. Remember when he turned himself into an impronounceable symbol up in Minnesota? That's the thing. So I don't know what's going on with that. Thanks to everybody who's joining us and asking questions. More importantly, put your questions in the comments. We can answer those live, and we have some in the inbox here. It's going to be a potpourri of Disney questions today. So joining us, we have the experts starting off up in the mitten. We're just talking about the mitten and showing where we actually are in the hand there with Scotty G. What's up, Scott? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, Mike. Hope you're having a great week. And looking forward to answering some listener questions. I know I upset some teacher friends a couple weeks ago, right? When I was like, man, I can't believe summer is over, but still, I can't believe that summer is almost over. Like, what is happening this summer, Mike?
So I do have okay, so let me jump into that one even before I get Pam in here. So first feedback, since you mentioned that, Mary Rose Sansone. Hey, Mike, got through the opening of listener questions. I'm not mad at you or Scotty. I do get mad at Target, Walmart, etc. advertising back to school now. And even though the Northeast doesn't go back until September, they have the money. Why can't they save the back to school ads for a few weeks for the different markets? This is my teacher reaction rant. LOL. Have a great Wednesday. There you go. So we got feedback from Mary Rose. She's not mad at you, Scott. She's mad at Walmart and Target, but I had to get that in there.
Hey, I'd rather have them mad at Target and Walmart for sure than me. But yeah, I get it though. That's got to be pretty frustrating to see. Like that doesn't happen to me at my job. Like I don't see like advertisements for variable annuities popping up all over the place, reminding me that it's time to go back to work. No, do I? Well, but it always happens to teachers though. So I feel your pain.
I got you. All right. Also joining us, we have the coder of the Magic for Less Travel, Pam Forrester. Pam, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Did you forget the company name for a second?
I almost said the Pam. I almost did a mashup there. You know, everybody changing names. I didn't know if we had a new like shorter name.
Right. Yeah. So I'll have to think about
like
that.
Y.com or something. Did we
yeah.
Are we M? I don't know.
Or at least the logo. Like I can change it from something travel related to something absolutely not travel related.
Like a balsa glider or something.
Something, yeah. Something like that. A car or I don't know. Like I don't know. I guess simplicity is sort of the key. Like, you know what I mean? Like if we can come up with something really simple, maybe we'll think about that. I don't know. The world has lost their mind. So whatever, it's all good. But yes, happy Wednesday, everybody. We're here for some good listener questions. And you know what's weird is, so I will say, in the whole, like, this is happening too early. Okay. Things are happening too early. Literally, I was in Home Goods, and guess what's all out? All the Halloween and fall decor.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Valentine's Day. I mean, it's been out for a while. I've been seeing these people are going crazy for those. There's Jack Skellingtons in that guy from the Haunted Mansion that has the lantern. Like you can apparently get those things for like $300. I think he's like 6 or 7 feet tall for your front yard. Like, have you seen that thing? Like
Jack Skellington's like 13 feet tall, I think.
Dude, he's gigantic. Oh yeah, I mean, but dude, have I been tempted? I'm not a Jack Skellington fan, but I'm super tempted for the Haunted Mansion dude.
Well, and so like, you know, last year I got like in my feeds, I got asked, and Facebook thought a group I would like, a suggested group for me were people that have the 12-foot or 15-foot skeleton thing. And I was like, Facebook, you're drunk for a few reasons. I don't have a 15-foot skeleton, and I probably won't ever have one. So anyways, but yes, not that if you have one, that's awesome for you. Nobody at my house is doing this though. So
I'm just saying, it's like ADRs, and it's like Run Disney, man. You got to make your move in July or never, because the things are going to be gone. I mean, you're not.
Yes, they will be gone. Well, that's what I started when I was in there. I was just picking up something random, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, like if I don't buy fall stuff soon, like it'll be gone by the time I get around to like thinking about what's going to happen here. So.
I do now have a visual of Steve though setting up the 15-foot skeleton, and it's outstanding.
Yes, I know. I'm going to check the HOA bylaws on that.
One year I asked my principal, and he was awesome because it was my best friend from high school's mom, who was my gifted at the gifted center. She was the director, and she always told me, she goes, Mike, don't ask permission, ask forgiveness. Because I wanted to paint my classroom NASA blue, and she's like, I don't think you can. Just ask forgiveness and just come up here in the summer and just start painting. So I did, and that was the best advice I ever got. So I'm just saying, throw that sucker up and just see what happens.
Just see. I'll be like, I don't know how to take it down, so it'll have to stay up until October 31st at least. So anyway.
Yeah, we're getting
that could turn into a Christmas decoration if it's Jack Skellington too.
I guess yes, it could. It's multi-use.
We're getting ads in our neighborhood. I know we said we're going to have a shorter show. Who knows? But we get ads in our neighborhood for these lights now that are like all year round. Like they come around, they put them on your house, but they're, I guess, because they're LEDs.
Yes,
they stay up year round, so they become like. I mean, I'm from Missouri, and some people consider this like, and I'm not trying to offend our Indiana users, but we call Hoosiers. You know what I'm saying? Like people, like, rednecks or whatever. But I mean, you know, people get on you if you keep your Christmas lights up year round around here. I guess it is everywhere in the country, right? But I mean, now I guess they're trying to turn that into a thing where your Christmas lights stay up all year round. And I guess they turn after Christmas, they turn into Valentine's lights.
Yes.
Into
It's
Easter
called
lights.
house lights.
Yes.
It's called house lights. I have a couple outside right now that I use on my porch every now and then. Yeah.
You keep them up all year, but I mean, okay, you have them like all.
No, I'm just joking because like
I
I'm calling it like my front porch light, like my
they're
house.
not as cool if they're up year round. Like they're fun because they're up for like a couple of months.
Right. And our like I think that's a big our landscaping lights, we can change the color on them with an app. So like if we wanted to, we could like for Halloween do, I don't know, like purple and orange or whatever, green and purple. Purple. I don't know how Halloween became a purple color. Like purple's a Halloween color, vice versa. But yeah, so I guess we could do that. And I guess at Christmas we could do like red and green or whatnot. But we don't do that either. So, anyways, let's answer some real questions. We have lots of questions.
I'm enjoying this talk. I mean, this is HOA hour, but Sean's got a question here. He says, father-daughter trip starts on August 20th, right there in Halloween season. First day at the Grand Floridian. Any must-dos at the Grand Flow? Scotty G, we're just back. What do they need to do?
Ooh, must-dos. I wish they had tea back, to be honest. That would be perfect for a father and daughter trip. So omit that answer though. That just can't happen right now, unfortunately. But you know, I just like strolling along, like going to the pool, like having a pool day. Pam, I know you were down there too at the Grand Flow, and I know you guys had a pool day too. And I just love that quiet pool. So there's the main pool that has the slide. It has like a cool waterfall feature, but I'm more like a quiet pool guy. I like the zero entry pool that's on the other side. That's kind of by the pineapple fountain. Just plan a few hours and just have an awesome pool day. And I think you and your daughter will have a blast there for sure.
I agree. Pam, thoughts?
Definitely. There's also, I would make sure that you look, get the look on the little signs throughout the resort. And I think you can still ask at the front desk for an activities thing, but see the activities are there. They have some free activities, lots of paid activity, or lots of free activities, a few paid activities, and one of which is a painting activity. They actually do it in the Garden View Tea Lounge, which I'm sad to see my tea lounge being used only as a paint place, but I understand. So check those out too. They do lots of fun stuff. Of course, we're always going to recommend Movie Under the Stars because that's fun. I think too, the transportation from the Grand Floridian can sometimes just be an experience itself. You can ride the monorail around and then stop at all the monorail resorts. You can also take boat transportation from that resort over to the Magic Kingdom. And if you don't happen to have a ticket on that day, there's no rule that you have to get out and go to the Magic Kingdom. You could actually take the boat transportation to or from the Magic Kingdom and then actually use that really cool and new walkway that they have put in between the Magic Kingdom and the Grand Floridian to get back. So enjoy. It's a great resort. Those rooms are fantastic. That's all. I mean, really, I could not have designed those better myself. So,
and you may see wildlife on that path. You never know.
One thing too, though, I wanted to add that's kind of fun that we did a couple times. Like if you're not going to the theme parks or you just want to avoid the crowd, like maybe get like an ice cream or something at Gasparilla and take it out and watch Happily Ever After from there. It's a really cool, unique experience. You get a great view of the castle, and I don't know, the cast members around there bring like a lot of great energy when you watch it. So, you know, if you want to stay out of the parks one night, do that too. That'd be a lot of fun, I think.
That is one of my favorite places outside of the park to watch Happily Ever After because they pipe in the music. Great spot. And I've seen it there with my girls. Good father-daughter spot to see it. Okay, real quick. I know we got to get to the questions, but I was going to do this at the top of the show, and all of a sudden it turned into 13-foot tall Jack Skellington discussions at HOA hour. Scott, because I want to make sure people get this before, in case they don't get to the show, you know, over 2 days, because we have something happening tomorrow night as you're listening to the show, Thursday. We're going to premiere a video that Scott is working on, the director's cut version 7, probably at this point. That is awesome. I've seen the first cut. Now, this is kind of like the George Lucas thing. It's gone through many revisions. We may walk on Jabba the Hutt's tail by the time this thing comes out. I don't know. But it's awesome. At least the version I saw. It's great. So, Scott, tell everybody what we're going to do, because we're going to watch this the first time through together. Everybody who's on the cruise with us, please come watch it. And even if you weren't, get you pumped for going on the Disney Wish and sailing with Disney Cruise Line?
Yeah, so I believe we're going to do it at 8:00 Eastern on Thursday, the 27th. I think that's the right date.
Yep.
But yeah, so I collected a lot of photos and videos from those that sailed on the podcast cruise, and I just combined them into a 30-minute video. I was surprised I actually got it up to 30 minutes, but it's really cool. Like, you see a lot of familiar faces, families making great memories, videos of fireworks, dancing at silent DJs, just a lot of fun. A montage. I put it all together into one video, tried to make it linear. There are some spots that I might not have known when a photo was taken, so I just put that on the C day, because I don't know about you two. Like, I found like a lot of people didn't have photos on C day. I think people are just trying to soak it up, and like you got to pack that day too. So I found that even myself had less photos on C day. So that was an interesting observation I made from making the video. But anyway, come out, join us live at 8:00 on Thursday, and be part of the watch party. It's going to be the first viewing, the premiere of the Be Our Guest Podcast Cruise 6 video.
And so after that, of course, it'll be available to watch whatever you want. So it'll be on YouTube. But we thought it'd be kind of fun to have the energy to watch it all together the first time. Right here, you can watch it on with us right here just like you'd watch us as we record live. So YouTube and all the places. So just come on in and comment as we go. We'll be just in the side there. You can watch our expressions and our faces if you want to watch that, kind of as we watch it, but it's going to be fun. So we can't wait to do that Thursday again tomorrow night. As you listen to this, if you're listening to the day it comes out so we said 8:00 Eastern, we're going to hit the button and so be ready. Okay. All right. Next question is from Catherine. Hey, BOGP crew. I'm going to be 6 months pregnant when I go in September, and I'm curious as to what some of your guys' favorite non-alcoholic drinks are at all 4 parks. Also, any tips to stay cool? I do plan on taking a midday break each day, whether to relax at the pool at the Riviera, and we're also bringing cooling towels. But anything else I'm missing? All right, Pam.
I think Pam's the queen of like cooling tips. Like, you guys always have some great accessories there.
First of all, you want to schedule table service breaks, right? Table service meals are your friend when it's hot.
I think that is a big part of it. I always say one of the things you're going to want to do is and there's something outside and then something inside and something outside and something inside, so that you don't get too hot. I think most people are like me, but I know, like, I'm fine. Oh, I'm too hot. Everybody pack it up. We're going home. Get out of my way. I cannot get out of this park fast enough. So I think that happens to most people. And if you can avoid doing that, you're in great shape. The other thing I'm going to suggest, and this seems so small and so dumb that it won't help at all, but it does. So there are these little tiny like travel fans, and there's all different kinds that you can buy. They're handheld. But I will tell you, if during one of your times when you're in an air-conditioned attraction, you use that fan and it's blowing that, cool air over you, it helps. It helps you cool down so much faster, and it's worth it. It really is. I haven't really... like the cooling towels I tried to use, but like I always felt like just like the back of my shirt was getting wet and everything. And I didn't even know. I'm like, am I doing this right? And then I felt like I had to carry a little bag to keep it in, to keep everything else from getting wet. I just wasn't good at it. And it totally could have been operator error, but the little fan I can use, and I just put it in my bag for the day and I take that. And I think, of course, we're always going to suggest, if you're trying to avoid the heat, if you get there first thing in the morning, get some things done, then get out of there and head back to your resort, enjoy the pool, or take a nap in the cold air-conditioned room, or anything like that is a good thing for sure.
And I think, even getting back to the parks, when you take that midday break, even if you go back at like 6, I know it's not dark at 6, but it just feels like it's kind of the heat of the day has subsided, especially if you've allowed your body to have a couple of hours in air conditioning or in a swimming pool, and your body has kind of had that break from being out in the heat of the day. Like, you can make the rest of the night and still be comfortable, even if it is still 90 degrees at 6 o'clock, because you are moving into the day cooling off and the sun going down. And it just seems like you're not going to be as aggressive in your touring of the parks from 6 to close as you are from like 8 a.m. to noon. At 8 a.m. to noon, you're kind of like, I'm trying to get as much done as I can. I'm trying to beat the crowds. I'm trying to do this and that and everything else, where your goal 6 to close might be oh, I just want to see the fireworks at the end here and get in some of my favorites. I think it's just kind of a mindset thing in the second half of the day, and especially after you cool down too. That at least that's how I've always felt. Scott, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I love those fans that Pam's family uses. Like I never actually have purchased one, but like when I hang out with them in the parks, I'm like, Steve, let me borrow that really quick. I need to cool down. So those things actually surprisingly like work pretty well.
They do. And they're so cheap too. Yeah. Like they're really inexpensive.
I just really need to after we're done recording today, I'm just gonna like put them in my Amazon card and just get them on their way.
Just buy
my travel bag. Yep.
Yes.
But she was also talking about mocktails, and unfortunately, I'm not the biggest expert on that. I will say though, like my daughter, oftentimes we're at a table service or somewhere in the park, she likes to switch it up and not get like a Coke or a water or whatever. So I know she likes to order the mocktails, and I don't have a particular one that I know of that is great, but she genuinely really does enjoy those mocktails, the non-alcoholic beverages. So I think throughout Walt Disney World, there's a great amount of selection that you can choose from, and I would just you probably know your taste, what you like. So like kind of look for something that you like there and go for it.
And then we're going to see so many more of these non-alcoholic specialty drinks as we see the dining plan come back, because as we sort of mentioned in the past, one of the things the dining plan does include is at both counter service and at sit-down restaurants, you can get either an alcoholic or a non-alcoholic specialty drink as part of your meal. Like that's included. So for adults who aren't having an alcoholic drink, you can order a non-alcoholic drink as well. And even children, first of all, we know for the dining plan and tickets at Walt Disney World, when you reach the age of 10, you're an adult. So there's that. But if you're under 10, they even have non-alcoholic specialty drinks on the menu, on the kids' menus at many locations too. And I think we're going to see that variety improve more. I know that the ones that, first of all, I'll mention the blue and green milk. That's a good choice if you're over there in Galaxy's Edge. Le Fou has a brew that is pretty popular at Gaston's. You can get it.
I like Booze Brew. That's a good one.
Yep. It is a good one.
And Olga's has some good ones too. I think
they do. Yeah, for sure. And I'm going to mention, for me, I'm not a huge fan of the Dole Whip. I know. But
I prefer the Dole Whip float.
But that's what I was going to say. The Dole Whip float with the pineapple juice in it is the winner, I will say. If I'm going to order one, there's that. But they always have some cool non-alcoholic drinks. I think you're going to be able to find lots for that. So not a problem.
Look around. And the thing is, that's how I discover things. I just see somebody that has something that looks fancy, and I'm like, hey, what's that?
What's that?
And I just ask them, like, hey, where'd you get that thing? And then, because people always want to brag on their drink. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got something fancy, you're like, oh, right here, Tambu Lounge.
Right.
It's in a pineapple. I guess can you get almost every drink without alcohol? I guess you could, right?
I bet you could, or something similar. Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't have my first
like drink. The Lapu Lapu, like at the Polynesian. I'm sure they have a non-alcoholic because it's a cool drink, right? It comes in pineapple and all that. Like, you can get a virgin version of that, a mocktail.
Yeah, I'm sure that Disney will sell you that however expensive the pineapple is, full of full of non-booze. Yes,
exactly. That's true. They're coming out ahead. However you slice it, coming out ahead.
Yes.
Okay. Diane, our good friend who's always here in the chat, and we appreciate her so very much, says planned a super last minute trip for last month. That's nothing, Diane. My guy here to the right, dude, he called me one day like, I want to go on a cruise like in 2 days. And so he did. So that was kind of last minute. What's your favorite easy to score last minute dining reservation or unique entertainment attraction to do? Okay, let's start with like ADR that you can get last minute, but it's the one I always go to. I mean, this was my always two. This was always my two that I went to for Summit whenever we went down for cheerleading. Olivia's and Paradiso 37. Dude, you couldn't miss it. And I like both places. I know people dog on Paradiso. And now my third, Splitsville. Splitsville has some rockin' food. We walked up at 6:30 on a Saturday night in July, got a table, no wait, bam. And we had this. I mean, the food was outstanding and the service was great. I'm telling you what, Splitsville is a sleeper. We'll go there again and again and again. Awesome. So those are my three. Paradiso 37, Splitsville. stop going to Olivia's because it rocks. But no, I love Diane. It's Olivia's. Okay, Scotty, what do you say? Give her a couple.
I mean, you took my answer, Mike. So it is Olivia's for me. For last minute, because there's availability. It's a pretty good size. They have, depending on the time of year or their staffing, they'll have outdoor seating as well. And I just find that it's easy to get. That might be some odd times though, and that's kind of how it always works, right? Like if you have a last minute trip, like there's going to be good availability, but the times might be like at 4 o'clock or 9 p.m. and might not be in that prime time dinner time, but you're going to be able to find something. But Mike, you absolutely stole mine. But yeah, the Olivia's is like my go-to. I love that restaurant. I love that the chicken. And it's just a great atmosphere for me. It's my home. I mean, Old Key West is my home, so I'm going with Olivia's.
Yeah, it's comfortable. Like you don't feel like you're always like, oh, I'm not, you get your theme park clothes on, you're fine, and it's just when you get there, it's like Cheers, right? You walk in and it feels like, oh, I'm here. Like you said, it's home. I mean, I'm not even like a DVC person, but I feel like that's my jam. I feel like, oh, I'm back where I need to be. All right, Pam, give us a couple more thoughts here.
So I'm going to give you one that we've mentioned a few times lately, and that's City Works. There's usually something available there. It's a fairly large restaurant and has lots of locations. I think a lot of the Disney Spring restaurants, you'll find some for sure. Those come up quite often. And then I'll put a shout out to my lounges who do not take reservations. You can just walk up. And I think that that's something important to remember. Most of the deluxe resorts are going to have at least one lounge where you can go to. Of course, you also have them at Coronado as well. You can go to Three Bridges and whatnot. But yeah, they do not take reservations. And if you were planning a last minute trip like now for August or September, guess what? You probably will not have a ton of problems making ADRs. There's lots available.
That's true. And shout out to Julie, who's tuned in, my good friend for over in Scotland, who's always tuned in with us. Just missed her. She was at Walt Disney World the same time we were, and just kept crossing paths there. But she's suggesting Skipper Canteen over in Adventureland at the Magic Kingdom, another solid choice. And Jessica, here tuned in live on Facebook, is suggesting Whispering Canyon Cafe. Those are both good choices, Scott, because again, those are both places you could go in the Magic Kingdom. Just got to hop a boat over it for Whispering Canyon, but that's a large place that's a lot of fun, and you can usually get in there almost every time.
And another tip, kind of like what Pam was saying, is like they had like a new feature on there. Well, there's the 2-hour rule now. Now you can cancel up to 2 hours before, so you do see a lot of cancellations popping up throughout the day. And then a lot of times you can just say like, I want to eat right now. There's a now button. So it's not like, because they have like a 30-minute intervals when you're on the app, you can hit a now and you can get on a wait list sometimes for a place. So like definitely use the app and be creative, but like you should be able to find something with these.
I love that now feature. That's
the now feature is cool. You got to be close though. You got to, you can't be at Old Key West trying to eat at like Yachtsman Steakhouse or something. You got to kind of be in the general area, but it's very cool when you are in that area.
It is. And Allison coming through with Maya Grill. That's a good one too. That's a good sleeper. Let's see. And also, Diane says they're going to be at Old Key West during that trip. So bam.
Olivia's it is.
Freeman Olivia's. All right. And Sean says the Edison. I've never been to the Edison. It just seems a little bit too wacky for me.
Big fan. I'm a big fan of the Edison.
Are you? It just seems like I need to like dress like a steampunk. If I'm going to, I feel like I need
to have to
or something if I'm going in there. It feels like it's too hip for Mike Rallman. Like,
not to go down like this show, we've been all over the place. Like this is
ever anything else? I mean,
it's an unusual episode today. But
you're a Cardinals fan. Leave. You don't serve your kind here. Kind of like C3PO and the canteen.
Yeah. But about the Edison too, like I know you feel this way too, Mike and Pam. I know you're the same. Like I love live music, and sometimes they have like live music going on in the Edison. You go there, you get a cocktail. I think I got like an awesome like grilled cheese there or something. Like
now you're talking language. I love live music and I love grilled cheese.
Grilled cheese and tomato soup.
Yes. And they have like the bacon there too, and like
you're killing me.
And their cocktail menu is like really nice. I mean, it might be kind of up there a little bit, but I mean, if you're going to Walt Disney World, you kind of have an idea what all the cocktail prices are. They have some really unique drinks. They're one of my favorite old fashions, Mike. Is
oh my God, you're killing me. Oh my God. Old fashions, live music, and grilled cheese and bacon.
Yeah.
What?
Why have you not been there, right?
I
Like,
know.
don't worry about your outfit, Mike.
I know,
Come on, just go there.
I have a bow tie or like goggles. I don't know.
No, you don't need any of it.
To go there.
But it is a really cool spot. I think it doesn't get mentioned enough, but but I don't want it to be because I want to be able to have availability when I go there. So there we go.
We're a secret club here, everybody. We don't tell anybody else. Okay, here's one that's from the inbox. I thought this was super interesting from listener Chris, and he just says Hollywood Studios in the title. He says, "Is it just me, or is Hollywood Studios losing its identity? We lost the great movie ride, Streets of America, Backlot Tour, and Lights Motor Action. Those all perfectly fit the Hollywood Studios theme. They're replaced with Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge. Neither of those fit with the original theme, in my opinion. Am I being too hard on Disney? I really miss the old attractions to give us a look behind the scenes of the movies. Thanks, and I love the podcast." So what do you say to that? Has Hollywood Studios lost its identity, or here's what I think, has it changed its identity? Pam, you go first. What do you think for Chris?
I think it has changed its identity, and I understand what you're saying, but I will also say that I think it was really due to guest interest, I will say. It just was. I mean, toward the end of the Great Movie Ride, before they announced that it was closing, we could go on that attraction and have a vehicle practically to ourselves. I mean, it was us and like 4 other diehards, you know what I mean, that were coming through. And it was a little sad, but it really was, I think, not well attended. And even when we rode through, you would hear like the kids behind us, "What movie is that?" Like through 90% of the attraction. I mean, so it just is.
Who are the Golden Girls again?
Right, exactly. No. Too funny. But I think that it really is sort of adapting to the movies that are maybe more embraced by a lot of different, people who aren't diehard Disney fans. And I think that we did see a lot of it. Maybe you think of these as like ones that maybe aren't part of what you think the movies are. But I think when you say Star Wars, I think there's just such a huge percentage of people who either like Star Wars or at least know Star Wars enough to, and probably have someone in their friends or family group that really loves Star Wars. So that sort of has sort of a timeless appeal, I think, that many people, can really just sort of relate to. And I think the same with Toy Story Land. That sort of was a nod to address maybe a park that that got criticism for a number of years of being too adult. It brings the kids into it a little bit. And it also, I think, again, Toy Story is a franchise that has gone on for years and years and years. I mean, think of what year was the first Toy Story movie? I can't remember, but it was, it was a
95.
long time ago. Yeah, this has been a long-standing franchise that most people either grew up with or had kids that were growing up with it or whatnot. So in that sense, I think that it gives us that. I think that there's just a lot of, room with the theme of it being a kind of a movie-centric theme park, a lot of room for them to sort of explore and do what they want. So
I think you made really good points there. It was something that probably needed a little change. And like, my generation, we grew up with Star Wars. Star Wars came out when I was 4 years old, right? And I'm going to be 50 this year. So even if you weren't a Star Wars fan, it was part of the culture. Everybody had Star Wars. But Toy Story Land, you and I were there for the media event when it opened, when that land opened in July of 17, something like that, 16, I don't remember. But the thing was funny was I remember you and I going back and forth as we kind of explored that land before it even opened to the general public a couple days later, was that it wasn't necessarily about the movie. We were pointing out things that were like from our childhood. Like, look at this nod to like the original, not Slinky Dog, but the Slinky and like Scrabble and all these toys from our childhood. So it was like on 2 levels. It was many connections to the Toy Story franchise, but kind of like the Toy Story Mania attraction that we had previous to the land. You saw all these little nods to the toys, Lincoln Logs and stuff that like even was before my time, but like my grandma had them from like when my mom grew up that we'd play with when we went over to her house and stuff. you know, it was like on 2 levels. Like we had those toys. Scott, what do you think about Chris's thoughts on Disney's Hollywood Studios?
It's interesting. I mean, you both are correct. There's not much more I can add, but I will say though, like I do miss a lot of these things though. Like we've gotten some really great stuff in return. But it's funny, just the other day I was looking through my YouTube channel and I had a video of like Catastrophe Canyon, like the first time I saw it, and like my reaction, like when like the tank like blows up or whatever in the water shooting out, like I was like screaming, like I thought like I was gonna get soaked by all that water. But like there was some cool stuff in the studios, but like it's just you got to evolve. Like Walt Disney said, like about Disneyland, it's always going to be changing. It's never finished, and that's how I feel about the studios. Like it's just we're getting some really great stuff in return. I missed a great movie ride, but I love Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I think that attraction is great, and it hits home for more like younger kids, right? They don't know like Footlight Parade and like all those movies in the Great Movie Ride. I mean, I loved it. I loved those movies, but I just want to ask you two, kind of off subject, like, did you know, like I went years without knowing that there was like a B show to the Great Movie Ride? Like I always like,
you didn't know there was like a Western and a gangster scene?
I just always thought like a gangster came out, and then like, I don't know, I must have done it like 10 or 15 times. And then all of a sudden, like we skipped by the gangster scene. I'm like, what's happening? Is the ride broken down or something? And then all of a sudden a cowboy comes into the vehicle. I was blown away that I could be like a huge Disney fan and had no idea that that was a thing, which I thought was kind of cool. I just wanted to share that because we're talking about Great Movie Ride. But
no, but it was rare. See, that's cool though. I mean, I love that though. But I mean,
it was rare because
distributed.
Yeah, they rarely had enough people to run both of the things, so it was just one of those. It is one of those crazy things. But yeah, I think too, I mean, there was an official name change too. It's Disney Studios now, and all of these things sort of encompass that. So I think there's definitely value in being nostalgic for the things that used to be, and there's value too in recognizing that you are being nostalgic and you can embrace some of the new things that come, because we've had some really cool things come our way too, like Scott pointed out, like Mickey and Minnie. It's on so many levels. I think it's a great attraction, and I think it will be able to be updated at different times easier and things like that. So I love seeing that as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm super nostalgic. I mean, I'd listen to retro podcasts. I mean, I talk about Mike in the Midwest, talk about my childhood all the time. I love that stuff. But when you think about, I love that the studios was a working studio at one point that you could kind of get a peek behind the scenes, and like how they had the Monster Sound Show and stuff like that. But I mean, think about how they make movies nowadays. How exciting is it to sit somebody, they make them all on the computer at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, think about how the Mandalorian's made. Like, it's a guy in front of a big room that's a big screen that shows the environment at this point. There's really no physical movie making, that I know of. Like, the industry has changed since 1989. Like, it's just not what it was. It's nostalgia for it, which, I mean, there's something to be said for that. But I think it's just, the world's changed since parks opened. And I think the consumer of going to theme parks has changed with kids.
But I'll say though, I love that park. Like, and identity changed or not, like the background loops, you walk in there, you hear the old Hollywood sounds. You go on Sunset Boulevard, you hear like the 30s big band.
I do love that.
And there's so many and the lights at night, like the neon and everything. Like, it is a tremendous park. I absolutely love it. And it's just fine. Now, you know what? Some of these things are going to go away sometimes. Like maybe Rock and Roller Coaster is going to change. Like things just change, and you just kind of have to adapt to it. But definitely there has been changes with the park, and I'm just excited to see the future and what for all 4 parks, really.
For sure. So that's funny. Like I love, we all love the attractions we love, right? But I love the excitement that comes with something new. I like to see what they're doing. I like to see what the Imagineers have thought about. I like to see the direction the company's going, the things that they've decided to put money in. I think those are all so interesting. And I love to see the reaction of guests. And I've shared this story. I know when they made the transition over to Happily Ever After the first time, I was a little resistant to that because I loved Wishes, right? I mean, we all loved Wishes. I think it had been there for pretty much forever, right? And so we were there, and I'd gone to the press event, and I'd seen it, and like that was all nice and good. And then my family wanted to go to it the next night. I'm like, I don't know, like it's rainy. I don't even know that I want to go to this. I'm not even sure I like this show and whatever.
Like Mallory. That's so Mallory.
And we're standing there with umbrellas, and I'm like, here I am under this umbrella. I've been standing here for like 45 minutes because all these people want to see this show. And it starts and I'm watching it. And I'm like, I don't know. Then it gets to the Moana thing, and this group of little girls behind me start belting out Moana like they were paid and hired to be Moana. And I realized that I was being a curmudgeon. And what I really needed to do was embrace the fact that this was a huge connection to these little girls and this fireworks show. They were going to remember this moment. And if they didn't remember the specific moment, they were going to remember these feelings that they had while they were there. And it just really was a great reminder for me to sort of let go of my preconceived notions and just embrace like how everyone else is even reacting to some of these changes. And it's a good reminder. I hope it, helps keep me younger to keep embracing change. So anyway,
that's a good point, because I want to get to the last question here, but to wrap this, I want to say sometimes when you're unsure of a change at Walt Disney World and you're unsure personally about it, because I got to do this myself. Look at the reactions, because I do, but I mean, look at the reactions of other people. Like, Harmonious, like Williams in the live. By the way, he had a hot take just a second ago, which I didn't get to. He says that Mickey and Minnie's is better than Rise. Woo, wow. Hot take. I don't know about that. Scott says, yeah.
I agree.
That's a smoking hot take right there, William. I like it. Flaming hot. But he says the music was great. Projections were okay, but the music was, I agree. The music was really good. The overall show, I wasn't a fan, but I know Scott was. And what I like to see, though, was I like to see the joy in others. Like, I know Scott loved it, and I loved that Scott loved it. Like, and I know other people loved it. That's the thing, is like just Pam said, sometimes just sit back, and even if it's not your thing, you can get joy in seeing that it's other people's things. You know what I'm saying? Like, do that in life, people. Like, I mean, just real quick, this past weekend, like the Barbie movie wasn't made for me, but that doesn't mean that I don't have to like be mad.
It was not.
It's not. Like, I'm a sports guy, but I don't got to get on Twitter and be like, I hate on the Barbie movie. Like, dude, people are happy. Good. I'm happy people are happy. Like, that's
yes.
Why does everybody gotta be mad? Anyway.
I don't know.
Okay, last question today. And by the way, shout out to Monkey Man Jonathan, who was speaking of spreading the love. He's been out in Disneyland and just, I've seen his pictures and he's making me happy. So there you go. All right. So last question was about Homecoming, and I lost it because we had so many coming in. Oh, here it is. It's from Sean. Stagnant Homecoming did a reservation for August. What are the must-have food and drinks? I'll tell you what, the moonshine, I've only had moonshine once and it was there, and that stuff is like drinking jet fuel. Hot.
But they have mixed drinks with it in there too.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. That stuff was smoking, but they say it's great. I mean, your daughter, Pam, has like a squeezy bottle that she gets refilled.
Yes, so, I know. Good parenting there, I guess. I don't know.
By the way, her daughter is an adult for new listeners.
She is an adult, yes. Not a tiny child.
Yeah, just saying. If this is your first episode, your daughter is a school teacher and is an adult. So
she needs the drinks. She's a teacher.
So that's not really bad that your daughter is drinking moonshine out of a squeezy bottle at Homecoming. Yes. But I like the just a side item. I love the deviled eggs. And I love the chicken and donuts. That's rocking. Those are my go-tos. Thigh-high chicken and biscuits. That's another thing. Scott, what do you get there when you go?
I usually go for brunch. So Sean's saying he got a dinner reservation because the Hallelujah biscuit is where it's at for me at brunch time. But yeah, the chicken's really good. I do like the mac and cheese. Like the mac and cheese side is like really good, I think. And if you are a bourbon drinker by any means, they have a really awesome old fashioned. They got all the moonshines, but their old fashioned is really great.
Good stuff. Pam, thoughts?
So I'm going to share a few of my techniques for Homecoming between our group. This has to stay in our group. I don't want to see this out in the interwebs anywhere.
No, never.
Go with a friend, okay? And you're going to split two things. One of them is the thigh-high biscuits, and this is a fried chicken on a biscuit, people. And it has a really good coating on it too. It's just really good. The other thing we get is it's called the kitchen plate, and that lets you choose 3 side dishes. And you're going to choose the macaroni and cheese, the sweet potatoes with marshmallows on them, because and then the other one that I always choose, because I love greens, collard greens, is the greens, and I think their greens are outstanding. I'll let other people sub in if you don't like collard greens for that. But if you don't choose those first 2 that I told you about, you're not doing it right. You're not doing it right.
Yeah, I would just do the mac and cheese. You're spot. Pam, I love the strategy though with the
Yes.
sharing. Sharing is caring, and that's really great.
It is. You have to take a friend because it's way too much food. But yes, that's the way to do dinner or lunch there.
And by the way, Sean's daughter's 22. She can get a squeezy bottle. So
there you go, Sean. Thankfully. Get the squeezy bottle.
I have one too. I just don't get the refills. I just have it was cool looking. But it
comes with refill privileges. There's a reduced cost, and you can stop by and get sodas and iced tea whenever you want.
I think I got sodas one time. And by the way, that was the last question of the day. But William, I love his. He said that he got where to go. I just jumped on me. He said the one time I had moonshine, it was apple pie, and William said it was like drinking Christmas.
Pretty much.
I like that.
What a show today. This has been something else.
We've covered it all.
I mean, what was this? Like episode 2000? What? I mean, sometimes you're just not your best, right?
Yeah, I mean, you just go with the flow.
It was good though.
All right. So we're out of here. We'll be back again on Friday. We have a listener feedback that we're going to go step by step. I think it's 7 points. And I wanted to address that fully in a show because they said, make me famous. And we're going to do that on Friday, at least internet famous, kind of famous on Friday's show. So come back for that because they made some really good points we want to have a discussion on. So don't forget today's show, always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out. We'd love to help you plan a great Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip. Always getting you the best deal possible. But more importantly, in my opinion, always, is that you have the most magical experience ever at that destination. You want to have the greatest time ever with who you travel with, your kids, your grandkids, your significant other. Hey, if you're going solo, have the best time ever posting those selfies and showing everybody what a great time you're having back home. We just want you to have the best time because you work hard all year to go on those trips and just want you to have the best time. So just swing by the magicforless.com today. It's a great place to start your trip planning. There's great tools right there on the site. And while you're there, fill out the quote form. Much information you have. Check in, check out date, a couple of hotels that you're thinking about, and then we'll go from there. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. It supports us throughout the year. So please click through there. And also, please join us on Patreon. It's patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. You can support us starting at just $5 a month for all these shows. And you get a bonus show each week called Mike in the Midwest. This week, I believe we talked about the Aquajet water slide and a couple other water slides around my hometown that should never have been allowed to be built. I don't know how it happened. It was the late 80s, early 90s, and somehow we're still alive and we survived it. But I mean, it was a different time. I can't believe they let us go on these slides, but we'll talk about that on Mike in the Midwest. So patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give us a follow on social media, X, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. I'm at BRGuestMike. Scott's at Epscott, EPSCOT. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. Give us a follow over there. Again, join us tomorrow night on all these locations, and we'll be debuting the video from the Be Our Guest podcast cruise, 8 o'clock Eastern. So we'll be doing that live. So join us there. And of course, Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central for the BOGP open line where you can call in and be a part of the show. All right, we'll be out of here, and we'll be back in on Friday with another fun podcast. So join us for that as well. So until then, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
That sippy cup comment reminded me of
cup.
At Sebastian's Bistro. We had a big group. Pam, I think you were there. We were with the Martinses, and Elizabeth spilled her adult beverage. And our server was great. We were hooting and hollering with him all night, and he came back with a refill of it in a kid's cup for Elizabeth. Oh, I just about died. That's good.
And I could go for. I'm so hungry tonight. I could go for some Sebastian's rolls.
I like Sebastian's. We don't talk about that enough.
I know the rolls there. They have like a what you call it, like a some good papaya or
Yeah.
some guava butter
Right.
or whatever. I don't know.
The role itself at Sebastian's kind of reminds me of Yachtsman's a little bit, like they're kind of like that pull apart role kind of thing. But
yeah,
Yachtsman. I'm just hungry, I guess.
everyone's hungry. This show always makes me hungry.
Dude, when you start talking about mac and cheese, man, you're killing me.
Dude, the mac and cheese at home.
I'm like,
It's so good.
yeah, no, yeah, we do not need to be talking about Homecoming right now. Okay, let me get this guy's email up because it's a good one. It's hot takes from a recent stay at the Grand Floridian.
Oh, he's at the Grand Flow, huh?
It's 9 points, but I think it's really good. Okay, yeah, I think this will be a good show. And we'll just kind of comment on it. Okay, here we go. This will be 23-27. Ready? Done dropping stuff?
No, I'm just.
Just teasing. Are you still editing?
No, I just, as you were doing the outro for the last episode, I made a couple final last edits, and now I'm trying.
Oh my gosh!
How would you stop?
Final, I'm done. Final answer, Regis.
Tell them again. What? There's a quote too, like perfection is the enemy of something.
Progress.
Yeah, you start sending you all the quotes.
It is. I have them all because it's actually, I say I'm a reformed perfectionist.
Yep, same. I used to be the same. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2327 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're getting ready for a great weekend, and we're kicking it off right now with some fun Disney talk, and hope you enjoyed the premiere of the BOGP Cruise 6 video yesterday on YouTube and all the locations. Thanks to Scotty G for putting that together with us, and thanks to everybody who joined us for that premiere. You can now find that, and we'll talk about where you can see that in just a second. So joining us today for a fun show, we're going to make one of our listeners, William, kind of internet famous with some feedback he gave us last week in the inbox. We want to talk about his email in full and give some comments. We have Scotty G up in the mitten. What's up, Scott? Any big plans for the weekend?
Happy Friday, Mike. Yeah, so I golf usually every Sunday with my brother and my friend Jake from work. And at a golf show a couple months ago, Jake attended. He put his name in a raffle and won a free round at a country club in Brighton, Michigan, which is about 45 minutes from where I live. I hear it's supposed to be a really nice country club. Dress code and everything, right? Got to have the tucked in shirt, no backward hats, and a polo. I mean, you got to have the look, right, at this place. And we're supposed to be playing it this Sunday. So looking forward to playing a course that most people are not allowed to play at. So it should be a lot of fun.
So it's almost like dining in the private room at Palo or going to Il Molino.
Kind of. So, yeah. So it's basically like I just need to know somebody to hook me up with these great experiences in life, like the dining at the Palo private room. Yeah. But really looking forward to it. I hope I don't make an embarrassment of myself, like playing at a nice place like this. My golf skill is not the best, but regardless, it should be a lot of fun.
That's what I was going to say about golf. For those people that play golf, and I don't play golf very often, play like once every few years at this point in my life. I used to play a lot like in high school and college. And every time I would get invited to because I always played like cheap public courses, like the cheaper the better, because of course I didn't have any money. But every time I score something like that, it just terrible. Like it never turned. Now, and I hope it turns out great for you, but like it's the nerves, right? Because you feel like you're just like, oh my gosh, like I'm playing the Masters or something. I'm playing Pebble Beach, I'm going to be found. I'm going to shank shankopotamus or something right off the first tee. I get
what you're saying. And I play some nice courses too, but the thing about those, like I know like they're not private. Like I could potentially play them again. So it's not my last time, but with this course, it's like one and done. Like I'm probably never going to have this opportunity again. So that's going to be, the nerves are going to be high on that first tee. Like I'm never going to get to play this hole again. Like I can't mess up kind of a thing. I got to throw that out the window and just be relaxed, loose, and just enjoy the moment, right? Just have a good time. That's how life should always be, right? Just enjoy the moment you're in.
All right. Well, good luck. We can't wait to see the photos. Make sure I know you won't be taking a lot of pictures because we'll be playing the game, but take some. We got to see it.
Absolutely will.
All right. Also joining us from the Magic for Less Travel co-owner, we have Pam Forrester. Pam, how are things out in Pittsburgh? What's going on this weekend?
They're good. We have been enjoying a beautiful summer this year, not too hot, and just loving all of that. So, and I'm looking forward to this email that we're going to tackle this Friday, since it's a different take for us in terms of this. But I will tell you, one of the things I love more than anything is when a guest comes back from their trip that they booked with us and they send us a note. And it sort of is like, we have the and when they include photos, we've actually sort of updated some of our welcome home emails to make that process a little easier, so that we can use those a little more. But I love that, and the pictures that we get, does my heart good. So, anyways, when you're sitting on there, 2 hours into a 4-hour hold to do something, a picture like that gets you through the day. So, love it.
That's great.
Yeah, seriously, this week earlier, Monday morning, I opened up my laptop first thing, jump into the inbox to start the week. And my first email was a family that just said, we had a great time. It was hot. The only complaint I have about my trip is it was hot because they were teachers, both adults. But I mean, the pictures, the family in front of the tree of life, just, smiling. The kids are you just tell they're having a ball. That's it. I'm like, thank you. Like, that's the reminder I need of why I do, sit on hold and, we make all these modifications 6 months out, 9 months out. You just made my week by sending that picture. Like, that's it, Pam, you're exactly right. The picture they say it's worth 1,000 words, but it really does. I mean, it means so much.
That's so rewarding. I love hearing that. Like, in my line of work, like, no one's going to send me a photo of what they're doing with a variable annuity. I'll tell you that much, but that's so cool. But no, that's cool. Cause I love, like, Mike and I were talking about with the montage video that we showed yesterday. Like, I just love seeing family vacations, even if it's not my family, just seeing people happy. Like, we need more of that in the world, and just seeing smiling faces, families making memories with their friends and their close family. I just love it. And that's cool that guests send those to you guys, that they want to share that. That just makes me very happy to hear. That's awesome.
Oh, it's the best. It is the best. It's like when you're a teacher and you get feedback that a kid, succeed. It's the same thing. Like, oh, you had a good time. You made memories. Oh, like we did it. Yes. It's so cool. Okay. Let's get into this email, because 9 points, and I didn't want to hit them on the email, the show on Wednesday. I want to give this an entire podcast, because I want to kind of break them down one at a time. Just, as our listeners are listening on the treadmill or walking the dog or doing the dishes or what have you, commuting, I thought we'd just kind of break this down and think about it. So William says, our family just got back from a 10-night stay at the Grand Floridian on July 2nd, and it's been great to hear about the pre and post trip stays from the podcast cruise. My wife, 4-year-old daughter, 8-year-old son, and I stayed in a theme park view room in Conch Key, I think it's how you pronounce it, and wanted to share a few hot takes / tips / things I learned from being there on such a long trip. Number 1, the Grand Floridian is underrated for kids. Our room was huge. We could see the fireworks and the electrical water pageant from our balcony every night. The resort was a source of calm after being in the parks all day. Awesome proximity to the Magic Kingdom. Room to Tony's Town Square in 10 minutes. Pools were great. Staff incredible. One thing the kids noticed, though, was that there is no playground. They were definitely jealous when they saw the playground at Fort Wilderness when we took the boat to the Magic Kingdom after Hoop-de-Doo one night. Also, FYI, they do not pipe in the fireworks music into the room at the Grand Floridian, but definitely stay close to where you want to spend most of your trip. If this were an adult's trip, that would totally be the boardwalk area. But for this family trip, no better place than the Grand Floridian. Getting off the boat, being the first stop at the end of the night with tired kids, and walking all of 50 feet or so to Conch Key was amazing. All right, so that's point 1. Scott, we were just there, and so were you, Pam. So initial thoughts. I mean, I think he's exactly right on.
Yeah, there's something to say about that theme park view room where you can see happily ever after and the water pageant from the privacy of like your own balcony. You don't have to worry about scrambling for a spot or like the exit back out of the park, where you have all those crowds. There's something really comforting about that. You can have like the own beverage. Say you went to the grocery store, you got like beverages or popcorn in your room or whatever. Like, there's just something like it's hard to put a price tag on that. You know, like that is just like something cool, some cool memories that they have. And it sounds like you took advantage of that with the family. I know they didn't have the music. I'm not sure if the TV would play it. Like I know the Contemporary, like there's a TV channel that will play the music. I don't know if I didn't actually try that at the Grand Floridian, but there might be a channel that you can play in the room that sync it up too. But that's really awesome. I love hearing that.
That is true. And we did mention, though, that if you wanted to hear the music, you could go out to that area right outside of Gasparilla's, that kind of little cove there where the boats kind of go out of. I think the Grand One is there docked. They do pipe the music in there. And so there's something to be, I know it's great to see them from your theme park balcony, which is kind of why you stay there. But I also like the energy of being around not thousands of other people, but that's kind of the great balance of seeing it outside of Gasparilla's is there's probably maybe like 100 people. And so you do have a few kids running around, you hear the oohs and the ahs, and then kind of sometimes the cast members come out and help give some energy to the crowd too towards the end of the show. At least they did the night we were there. So that was kind of fun, like the communal feel of the fireworks show without being like, 20,000 people on your shoulders in the hub. So that was kind of cool. Pam, what do you think about his thoughts on the Grand, especially for families?
Yeah, I think it's a resort that really works for some families for a number of reasons. I mean, can you beat that monorail transportation to the Magic Kingdom? You get on the monorail and the Magic Kingdom is the next stop. And when you add in the fact that you now have that walking path too, that's awesome. I think that that's our normal thing, is that so many people often say, gosh, I thought like it was too fancy for kids or whatever. It's not kid friendly. And it truly, truly is kid friendly with the number of activities that they have specifically for kids. I can pretty much say I am in that lobby often, and I rarely see it without kids running through there being kids. I mean, all the Disney resorts are really set up for that. When we were there, they had all kinds of, in addition to like the planned activities, there were like toys and like games and stuff like on the lawn for kids to play with. So I thought that was a huge thing. I just think, with both of the pools, with the feature pool that has the slide and the waterfall and the quiet pool, I think it's a great location for kids. So I get that. And I love that that's something that we talked about.
It's interesting about the playground too. Like he made a comment like there's no playground, and I trying to visualize the resort. Like I don't even know where I would put it, to be honest. Like I get it where like some kids like want to burn off some energy. Like the playgrounds are a lot of fun, but like I don't know if it would fit well with the theme. But to your point, Pam, there's lots of like yard games and stuff, right, for the kids to do. There's cornhole. I think they have like a miniature golf course set up on the lawn and things like that. So they do have those fun kid activities. But I don't know, Mike, do you know like where would you put a play set? I don't even know.
I think that's really a challenge where, land, especially on the monorail resorts, like lands at a premium there. But they do, I've seen a lot of kids like hula hooping and stuff where, that's something that's easy to burn your energy off, hopscotching around. They do stuff like that. Like you said, they had the mini golf course set up. So, I mean, and a lot of kids just like run around on that grass. You know what I'm saying? Like if they need that after dinner, you see a lot of kids just running around, which is fine.
And they have that water play area too. Like I forgot about it until I'm like starting to think about the location, but they have a full on Alice in Wonderland themed water play area, which is, I think that that's spectacular too. That means that like little ones who you may not trust in the water yet, right, can get their fill in that water play area where you can have a big top hat that dumps a bunch of water on you, or you get sprayed, or you go down a water slide or whatnot. So lots of good stuff there too.
Or by the villas. Okay, point 2, the monorail to Epcot is overrated. He says, it was our first time staying on the resort loop, and after living in New York City for nearly a decade, we expected the monorail to be quicker than it was. Don't get me wrong. It was nice not having to rush onto and off of the monorail, but it just feels like you're crawling at every stop. It's unfortunate there's not a bus option. One afternoon, we hopped there after coming back to the hotel, and we're headed to World Showcase. Take the bus to Hollywood Studios and use the Skyliner to get to International Gateway. Definitely saves some walking, and it was an excuse to check out the Skyliner when we otherwise wouldn't have used it this trip. So see, here's what I think. Okay, when I read this, I didn't mind because we took the monorail to Epcot, and I have no problem with it. But I think here's the difference between William and myself. He's from New York City. He is a public transport expert because he's probably been on subways and efficient public transportation systems. I find public transportation a novelty, like even crowded buses that are not efficient, because I never take it. Being a Midwesterner, I'm always in my Jeep. Like I always take my own way. So I could see where he's like looking at efficiencies because it's like so good in New York City. He can be on like those things probably run like if you're from London, it's probably kind of the same boat, like big cities, you probably have a different perspective than somebody's from the Midwest. I mean, is that your take, Scott? Do you think?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, we have pretty good public transportation here in Michigan too. I think in other areas of the Midwest too. But I will say that I kind of get what he's saying because like at the Grand Floridian, you got to take like multiple stops just to get to the TTC, which is where you have to like, exchange and get on another train to Epcot. But I will say that's my favorite ride in all of Walt Disney World. Like I love that monorail ride into Epcot. There's just something like old school about it too when you're like coming in and like, you see like Guardians, you see like the narration, I think of like the old now to your left is the seas. Like I just love that audio.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about this on the live show the other day, like looking down on the Moana too, like you can kind of see like any kind of construction, you get this like higher view. Like it's just a cool experience, but it does take work. I think that's kind of what he's saying. Like it takes work when you're at the Grand Floridian because you got to do like 3 stops just to do the exchange. Where like if you're at the Polynesian, you could just walk over to the TTC and then hop direct to Epcot. So I kind of see what he's saying.
And I swear like a year ago at TTC, you could just walk straight across the platform to go from the one monorail to the other. Now you got to get off, go down and under and up. Like I am not kidding. I know you could just walk across. Like they've switched that.
There was a time.
There was a time when you could, yeah, for sure.
That made a huge difference. Okay, because he's got a few points. Like, this is the next one, Pam. I want to get your thoughts on this one. 3. Genie Plus is worth it every time. You're already spending hundreds of dollars per day on a room, tickets, and dining. What's an extra few bucks to get back hours of your time waiting in line when you're already that invested in your trip, especially with kids in the hot summertime? If it's a less busy day, it's cheaper, so it's worth it. On a busier day, even though it's pricier, it'll save you time and it's still worth it. I still can't figure out how they calculate when you can reserve your next lightning lane, though. So Pam, thoughts on that? Adding Genie, because you know what? I was one that I had never bought Genie Plus at Walt Disney World until this past trip. I bought it that day at the Hollywood Studios. And I will say for that one day in that one circumstance, I was singing its praises because we got everything done, even though we did not get to the park till almost lunchtime. It served its purpose that day.
Yeah, I don't want to spend anyone's money, but I have to agree that if you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound on a vacation, basically. I mean, you are already spending, I don't even know how much money on this vacation. And if this can save you time, vacation time is precious. It is so precious. And the more you can get done, the happier you can keep everyone. All of that sort of contributes to what you're going to do. If your goal is to see a lot of attractions and to experience a lot of attractions, then I think it's one of your better ways to get it done. And Genie Plus, I understand Fast Pass used to be free and this used to be free. It just isn't anymore. And you just have to push aside the frustration you may have with that point of it and not let that hold you up from experiencing something that could save you time. And ultimately money, because you may not need as many days. You may not need as much time. You may not, whatever. Again, I don't want to spend anyone's money, and everyone knows their budget best. I want to see people get to Walt Disney World, period, or to Disneyland or on a Disney cruise. Like, I want to see people have vacations, period, because I think that they impact your life so much. I think they're such a positive thing. But if you can swing it, I would consider it, and especially for Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios. And the other thing is, if you are park hopping, that is another time when I feel like you can really save a bunch of time, regardless of the park that you're going into. you can save time by stacking those Genie Plus Lightning Lane entrances at the park you're going to go to in the afternoon. And so that's something to think of too. So I think that there can be some really positive ones.
I think it's strategic deployment. Like, think about your goal for the day, because a 7-day trip, 10-day trip, probably don't need every day. You can just chill and relax a couple of days, but maybe some of those days you're really trying to see a lot, man. It can save you, because it could buy you back even the afternoon or the evening in the pool.
100%.
Is that not worth, $75 or something? I mean, yeah, totally. Scott, what do you think?
Yeah. I don't have much to add. I mean, Pam just really nailed it for me. Like, yeah, she's spot on. And yeah, for a long trip, or if you don't go that often, Genie Plus totally has a great value in there. So I totally agree.
All right. His fourth point. I like this one because I never thought about this. The Disney 100 signs are underrated. At first glance, it's just silver lettering, blah, whatever. But we recently went to see The Little Mermaid in theaters and noticed an Easter egg in it. The 00 and the 100 are touching, making an infinity sign. It's intentional. There's animation when it appears on screen. Such a classy homage to the past, but also that there are so many ways to interpret the infinity sign. Walt's legacy living on in a company, doing things he probably never dreamed of, the brand always being there for you as a source of comfort and joy, memories that live on from generation to generation. Just so much going on there. Gives me all the feels. Love it. Because I've kind of been a little negative on because they're just kind of plain. I mean, like this, the ones in the park, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, like the font's kind of boring to me, but yeah, he sees more in it. I like it. I like that we can be positive. I like it, because I just wish they gave him a little, like the font's kind of,
Maybe it was like classic.
Yeah, it is. It's classic.
What it hurts me is, like, we just got done, especially at Walt Disney World, we just got done with like a 50th anniversary that felt like it went on for like 3 years. And now we have this 100 sign now out in front of the parks. It's just like, I just like want to enjoy the parks without like some kind of weird celebration, How did I go from 50? How did I double? How did I go from 50 to 100? I mean, I know it's for the company, but it's just kind of confusing for me a little bit, but it's just not for me, but it's fine.
I never thought about that. Think about if you're a casual and like, you're not into this, like we are, like, what would you say? Like, okay, it was the 50th anniversary. Now it's Disney 100, like 2 months later.
No, the best is like, yeah, like I thought the park opened in 1971. I was there in 2023 and they're celebrating the 50th. I come back the next year and now it's 100. Like, what is happening?
Dude, time goes fast in Disney. That's what people are going to be like, dude, I want to go there. I'm getting old fast. Okay. You're going to like this next one, Scott. Point 5. Hoop-de-doo review is a must-do. I loved it. My 8-year-old loved it. My 4-year-old loved it. Smiles the entire time. Never a dull moment. Staff was great. Food was great. Take a minivan there. We were there, room to Pioneer Hall in 15 minutes. And that wouldn't have been possible if the minivan didn't have access to cast member only roads, unlimited beer, wine, sangria. So pour one out for reflections while you're there. It was a little sad to see the leftover construction pit and to think of what could have been, but the show and the staff quickly put a smile on our faces. Timeless, fun for everyone. Loved it. Scott, this is one of your new discoveries lately.
Yeah, it's a riot. I love that show. Like, it's hard to believe that I went so long without going there. And I broke my rule. I wanted to go there with my buddy Moose for the first time because he loves that. He has a riot every time he's there. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, so I went with my family. But Moose, if you're listening, you and I, we still need to go another time. But it was so much fun. Like, and I think I told you, like, our server was like a magician with like the unlimited beer. Like, I would be drinking one, I'd look over like to my left and watch one of the performers. Then boom, I come back. There's a beer already there. It's like I don't know if he was like refilling them under the table or what, but like they were like, I was never once empty during that performance. And I gotta say, like, the entertainment, the show was great. The singing, the acting. I had a smile on my face the entire time. I will say, like, I think seating kind of helps where you're at potentially in there. Like, I was on the main floor. Like, I paid for the premium. Like, I was like, I've never done this before. I'm going to go all in. I know there's some seats might not be as good as others, but the food's going to be the same. The entertainment is the same. And I'll tell you, that strawberry shortcake at the end. Dude, my God, that is so good. It's weird to mix it with a bunch of beer, but I'll tell you, it was good, though. I really enjoyed it.
But you took on the challenge and you got it. Yes.
But like William, like I was surprised. Like I was like, I heard about this. Let's give it a shot. And man, it lived up. It was awesome.
My dude was looking for cowboy hats when he came home.
Yeah. Bam, you like it too. Like you guys have been.
We have, yeah. And you know what? The last time we went, we actually sat at the balcony on the balcony level, and I didn't mind that. Like it was a little more like low key. I didn't feel so much like on display, and we just sort of were able to sit back and like really enjoy the experience and whatnot. But it's just a good time. You know, I think if that's how you have to go into it, it's just a good time. We're not talking like you know, classy entertainment. We're not talking about, you know, that kind of classy food or anything like that. Perfect. It's nothing fancy, Mike. Nothing fancy. Yeah. But it's good. It's Cracker good. Barrel. And it's good fun. And I always like the opportunity to sneak on over to Fort Wilderness and sort of check things out there. Because again, it feels really nostalgic.
Another thing too, I kind of like about it for those that like the dining plan or like, you know, like trying to get all their expenses paid ahead of time. It's a prepaid reservation. So you pay for it, you know, 60 days in advance when you make it and you get there and you're like, oh, sweet. I'm already covered. I don't have to worry about this. Like, it just feels like it's like, it makes it extra more fun. Like when you don't have to worry about paying when you've already, I mean, you paid for it at some point.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice.
2 months ago. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Done. Okay. Next, number 6, most underrated tour on property is Up Close with Rhinos at Animal Kingdom. Only $45 per person, and we got to learn so much about rhinos, see backstage, and while it's not guaranteed, we got to pet the rhinos. Not just any rhinos, but the rhinos featured on the Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom show. There's an episode where one of the rhinos has a cracked horn, and they have to saw off the tip. Happy to report it's grown back and looks normal. Once in a lifetime experience. Where else can you pet a celebrity rhino? And in case you're wondering, it feels like a hairy basketball. That's that point.
I'm jealous now because I love the rhinos.
Each one to know here on a Friday, it feels like a hairy basketball, a rhino's horn. And again, one thing when I started the show in 2008, never thought that'd be uttered into the microphone, but there you go. Here you have it. So has anybody done that tour?
I have not.
No,
I have not. I've done other tours where we came really close to the rhinos. When they used to have the morning and the evening tour, I did both of those to sort of go into the Animal Kingdom. And we did a morning tour where the rhinos were out and they were playing. Like they were running around with each other and sort of whatever. And it made such an impact on Steve and I. Like when I bring home a souvenir, I try to make it be something that's, you know, was impactful. And that trip I brought home this little rhino figure, but it was really a fun thing. And now I'm totally jealous and I'm looking to see when I can go pet a rhino.
I know. Right as you said that, like Pam started typing. I feel like she was like trying to book a tour right when you said that.
I was like, what?
It's like Ricky writing a blog article when she gets bored with one of my topics.
Yes, it's personal travel, whatever. But yes, I know. I don't want to just pet one though. I want to hug one. So like they'd have their hands full with me. Like my husband would be like, Pam, no, you can't hug it.
You probably
should be able to touch it, but you can't hug it.
I don't know about all that. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably more than $45 per person to hug one. I'm just thinking, probably a few more papers you'd have to sign. Just thinking. I don't know how that works. Okay, point number 7 out of 9. We're getting there. Here we go. Number 7, Space 220 was a highlight meal of the trip. There's something about leaving the hustle and bustle of the park and the heat and sunshine of the park to relax midday in this cool, dark restaurant with interesting things flying by to look at on the screen, interesting drinks and menu items. Just a unique escape and a wonderful experience. And even though it's a tough reservation to get, the experience getting into and out of space felt very special and personal. In a park with so much great dining, it's easy to overlook, but 100% we would go back there. So we haven't, you know what? It's kind of funny when we think about this, because step back for a second. The question we got probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago, nonstop, no kidding. We even made a joke about it, was when Space 220 opening. Like it was just not every week. Seriously, people would write nonstop about that. And then as soon as it opened, crickets. Never heard about it again. I have a cricket button. I can't remember which one it is. But, and I've said this, that because I'm a space guy, right? Worked at space camp. I've always loved space. It is such a cool experience. I think every Disney fan needs to do it once. I don't think you need to do it every trip because it's going to be the same experience, but it is exactly what Epcot needs. But everybody needs to do it at least once to see what it's all about. So what do you think about his feedback, Scott? Because especially like midday at Epcot in the summer, oh my, he's nailing it where it's a great escape.
Yeah, always a great escape. And everyone should try something at least once. And I will tell you, like, I really enjoyed my experience there. I want to go back and like do the lounge. I've heard like the lounge is kind of cool. So I was like in the main restaurant area and we had a great time. I'll tell you, I felt like I was kind of like in Coral Reef a little bit. You know, you kind of get those like Coral Reef vibes, except you're in space, but really enjoyed the drinks. I enjoyed my meal. I think they have like this buffalo cauliflower or something that I just thought was really awesome. But I'll tell you, like, it's funny, like at work, people know me as people come to me all the time with Disney questions. And it's funny you talk about like everyone asked that question about when Space 220 was going to open, because I remember that, but that's a common question I get at work is like, can you tell me about the Space 220 place? Because they're like looking at the reservations and they see it and it seems cool. And I tell everyone, yes, take your kids there. I think your kids are going to love it. The adults in your group are going to love it. It's a cool experience that I think doesn't get talked about enough. I don't know why it is. Maybe it's just the price point or something, but I think it's really cool and everyone should definitely do it.
Pam, your thoughts? I mean, he's great points all around here.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. We've been in the restaurant a few times and eaten at the lounge a few times, and I really like both of the experiences for different reasons. But I totally agree that removing yourself from the hot that Epcot can be, it is really, it's dark, it's kind of cold, and you're out in space. I mean, what could be better than that? So yeah, it's good.
All right. Point number 8. The best time to ride rides in the Magic Kingdom is during fireworks. You can just get so much done, and it's so much fun to rush from ride to ride with music and fireworks and nobody crowding the walkways and without the sun beating down on you. Then hop online at Seven Dwarfs Mine Train at Park Close to cap off the night. Perfect. Okay. See this one, it's a sacrifice, right? It's one of those either or. Like, I like fireworks, so it's really hard for me to give up. Now that Happily Ever After is back, this is a harder proposition for me because that show is special. Mallory loves it. When we're together, we got to watch the show. This is a non-starter for me. I do have to watch the fireworks, but Ricky does this all the time. Ricky has no soul, and she does not watch fireworks, so she goes and watches and rides the ride. I'm just kidding, William. I'm just playing with you. But if you have no soul and you can just skip the fireworks and you can go ride the ride. So I'm just playing. No, but you're exactly right. It's a great strategy. I mean, I have done this because I've seen old fireworks shows. Because I'd seen Wishes 50 times, and there were nights where, hey, let's just go for it. And I mean, it is like it's a challenge because you have like that window of probably like 30 to 45 minutes where it's like, oh yeah, all the suckers are in the hub. They're on Main Street. Let's roll. Let's hit Tomorrowland. Let's hit Frontierland. Let's do this, right? I mean, Scott, have you done that? I mean, it is like a challenge because you only got a little window. Let's go.
Well, I like doing both. So not that I want to give the secret away, but I love Big Thunder during a fireworks show. For one, it's thundier at night, right? So it's I love Big Thunder at night. And obviously you have to time it, right? You just can't be like waiting with the cast member and be like, okay, just hold my spot until the fireworks start. But it is a cool experience to go up that second lift hill and then you see like the fireworks going off. That's really cool. But yeah, I mean, it's a good point, right? There's thousands of people waiting on Main Street in the hub. So that's going to open up a lot of areas for you during that window of during the show, after the show, and slightly before. So good call. Makes sense.
Pam, what about you? I mean, because again, you've seen the fireworks many, many times, but again, sentimental. When it kind of depends who you're with, I think a lot of times too.
Yeah, I know. And I have done this before, but I will say it's been a while because for me, seeing the fireworks is more important to me than experiencing an attraction. But I think that for families who are like, I don't care about the fireworks, this is a fantastic strategy, really and truly. It's the way to go. Just go and do it. I think it's a great move.
All right. Sure. The last point, number 9, Last one is a tribute to all snacks, but mostly mobile order Dole Whip. It's Sunshine Tree Terrace. He says, God bless America. Just ask for an extra cup like a kid's beverage cup for when it instantly melts in July. And that's all he's got on that one. So there you go. Mobile order the Dole Whip at Sunshine Tree Terrace. That's a good hack. I like that.
Agreed. Mobile ordering.
Yeah,
in places that have mobile ordering and then you see the people waiting in line, I want to be like,
no, don't. Just let them stand in that line. Too bad, so sad.
But you're like, why?
From COVID, when really nobody knew about mobile order, like that was, because people would, it was like back in the day when Fast Pass was new, and like people would side. I don't even know if side eye was a thing back then. They would like dirty mug you when you went down that Fast Pass line. Like, dude, what are you doing? You're cutting the line. No, I'm smarter than you. I know how to use the system. You could be doing this too in 5 minutes. Just read a guidebook.
For sure.
For real. Get a travel agent. Anyway, so he wraps it up by saying, thanks for all you do and making me feel like a mini celebrity. If you read this on the air, Bill is from Del Mar, New York. So, hey, thanks to great email by Bill, right? It's a fun show.
100%. I love that. I love hearing somebody else's take. And I love hearing that there are different ways to do the things. So yeah, like it all.
I agree. So thank you, Bill, for a whole entire episode that made it really easy on us on a Friday. And it was great to have these, like Pam said, these thoughts on your vacation. And, hey, if anybody else has takes like this, send them in, Mike at brguestpodcast.com, because we like to hear how everybody sees Walt Disney World, Disneyland, cruise line, everything. It's great. That's what Scott and I were having this conversation real quick as we wrapped the show. When he was putting together the video, he's like, man, we have a lot of pictures of like our family, kind of, because, we took a lot, and he asked a lot of people for pictures and videos, and he got some from other families and put them in there. But the thing is, like I told him, like, I'm so excited to see the pictures not of us, because I like to see how other people saw the podcast cruise. Like, I want to see the pictures from the other folks. I want to see like what they did that I didn't go to. Like, what did the kids do? Because I didn't get to go to a lot of the kids events. And, what did the teens do in the kids club, stuff like that. So when we got to see the video finally, it was fun to see it was kind of a whole new way to see the podcast cruise and see things I wasn't even part of. Like, I could see that wild night you guys had in Tiana's Bayou.
On the Bayou, yeah.
I hate that I missed that now that I saw the video. Bummer. I know. That was a long night, it looked like. But you got to see the sunrise the next day, and I didn't. So you looked like you had a rough one there at the end.
It wasn't rough. It was just going to bed at 3 a.m. It's hard to catch a 6 a.m. sunrise. I'll just say that.
I saw a little floaty wish. Bluetooth speaker though made the video, so that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well, hope you enjoyed today's show. Again, we'll have a live show Sunday night, so join us 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central. Be a part of the show. Give us a call. We open up the phone lines and have a lot of fun. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Or I should say X. Okay, so we are going to get out of here. Our show is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. The agents are standing by even this weekend over at themagicforless.com. Swing by, start planning your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip. While you're there, fill out that free, no obligation quote form, and agent will get back to you right away to make that magical vacation possible. Get it started for you for no additional cost to you. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do. BeOurGuestPodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons who make all these shows possible. If you'd like to support us, just $5 a month and get all these shows. It really helps support everything we do. And you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. It's patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast. Give us all a follow on the social media. I'm at BeOurGuestMike, Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. Not Twitch, Threads, whatever that is. I'm everywhere. I'm BeOurGuestMike. Scott's at EpScott, EPSCOT. Pam's at TMFLT Pam. And also, if you don't mind, give us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. That would really, really help us out. And while you're over there, subscribe. That's one way to really support the show, is to hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss any future episodes. All right, we're going to jump out of here and wish you a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed the shows this week, and we'll give you some more great shows next week as well. So for Scott and Pam, I'm wishing you a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Good
That was a fun
stuff.
episode. I liked hearing those comments. Like
Yeah,
I think they were good.
yeah. I mean, I thought that would make a decent show, and it was about the right length.
Yeah.
So there we
the
go.
last one, the Dole Whip.
God bless.
It's
them.
funny, all three of us like don't really necessarily care that much for the Dole Whip, but
No, but people do. So
yeah, oh, yeah.
People love it.
Mhm.
I know I'm more of an ice cream guy, but I get it.
I like
All
the
right,
citrus
well-
swirl. Yeah.
All right. See y'all.
Yep. Have a good one. Good night, everyone.
Good night.